Hello everyone, and welcome back to Misfits Racing League action. My name is Shrifium. Sorry for the slight delay there. I had a bit of an issue with my keyboard over on this end. But of course, we are here back on a Friday evening, for those, of course, in the UK and Europe. Joining me for Club Division action, as always, Unicorn. How are you doing?
I'm looking forward to this one. It's going to be very exciting. We've got a pretty tight title fight, I think, going into this one. This is the third to final round. We've got 3 races left, including this one, and well, it's all still very much to play for up at the front, and I think that is going to, one particularly spicy when it comes to the racing on track we see between these drivers.
Oh, I am beyond excited for this race. It is a very tight title championship fight. We'll take a look at the circuit. This is our 5th race around Mexico this week. It is not, as we would normally say, our final race of the week around Mexico. However, we have the endurance series tomorrow, but 17 turns around here. It is a very fast lap around Mexico as well in comparison to the majority of the calendar. And one thing is, we've had these 4 races already this week around here. They have presented a very unique variety of dynamics. That's what I'll say for certain. Of course, we are here. It is the 4th of December. We had FP1 and FP2 today in Bahrain. It's a different circuit this time for this race anyway, Mexico. And then we have Brazil next week, Abu Dhabi, for the final round of the season. We look at the teams for Club Division. And this grid, as we've always described it, I want to say round 7, is really kind of now become a sandbox division through into the end of the season, where a lot of these racers, a lot of the fast drivers mixed in and around the MRL grids come to play. We have ZZ9 and Fraser on the Mercedes squad, with Alex Bitto and Distinctive for Ferrari. I'm not entirely too sure if Distinctive is still with us. Some very questionable driving from him, but I don't believe he's still with us on the roster. Ben the Bear, Remco Van Putten for Red Bull. Mito and Burke for McLaren. I was going to say Mito and McLaren, but Mito and Burke over at McLaren. Seb and Zamis for Renault. Freeware and Finn for AlphaTauri, with Burke Khan and Jones over at Racing Point. Shenjay and Money for Alfa Romeo, with Tim and Severin and Jinakari at Haas. We have Domi and Mammal rounding out the grid at Williams. Standings. Now, this is what it's about here. We were saying it's a very tight standings fight right now. If you look at the fight for the championship, ZZ9, 272 points, 11 points behind him, Alex Bitto. These two have been doing the dance all season long. And then it wasn't until recently Shenjay really jumped into the party. He is just 7 points behind Alex Bitto at the moment. So he is very much in this fight. Somebody else who's had a breath of life into this late end of the season as well that we saw last week, Unicorn, was Ben the Bear, and he's sitting there taking away race win points from these guys in this title fight, which is making it even more intense as we make our way through now for the third last round. Of course, nothing to report, no incidents filed after the United States Grand Prix last week for the Club Division. We are very thrilled to see that after it was quite the busy week for the stewards. Welcome to Mexico. Keep it clean. Mercedes is kicking off this championship and lead of things, of course, with Red Bull, Alfa Romeo right behind. You have Ferrari there 4th, with AlphaTauri in 5th. And with all that being said, Unicorn, I think we are ready to go racing here finally for the final round of MRL action at the very least. We have the endurance series tomorrow, but yeah, 5th round now, Club Division, as you said, title fight. It's going to be exciting stuff.
Yeah, I think there's really Mercedes. I think at this point it's gonna be like you said. Ben's back. He's been putting in a lot of shifts recently in that Red Bull car, and Remco Van Putten, he's always here as well. And whether they can catch up to Mercedes, we'll have to wait and see. But there's you've got Red Bull, Alfa Romeo, and Ferrari all within 20 points of each other. So that is a very exciting battle going on in the constructors. And then we've got those top 3 in the driver's standings. Ben, unfortunately, he's out of the running for the title. I do believe he's just too far back at this point, almost 100 points down on ZZ9, with just 75 points left up for grabs. But those top 3 still very, very much alive. And like you said, Ben, if he does take these race wins away from them, it means that they get less points and there's less separation between the points that they get, and it keeps that title fight nice and alive. And I think it will go down to the wire
I think
At
this
least between Alex
championship.
Bido and ZZ9.
Yeah, I definitely think. Well,
Minimum.
you know what? It's going to shape it right here. Mexico is going to shape what we've just said. What you've just put forth there, saying it's going to go down to the wire. This is the race that will determine that. I genuinely do believe. I think that if Ben the Bear, for example, is able to take a win away from ZZ9 here in Mexico, there's no way that this championship can get wrapped up, let's say, in Brazil. I think it would have to go to Abu Dhabi because it is really only between ZZ9, Alex Bido, who's in second, and Shenjay. And something else, let's take a look. We have 18 drivers on this grid, and there's another very fast driver. We've seen him in club division before. Bottas Gang, I see, is here in a reserve capacity. So he's going to be, I imagine, trying to light the circuit on fire here. We have a dry qualifying session. 18 minutes is the duration of qualifying here in the MRL. And of course, a 50% distance campaign around this Mexico City, this Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez named circuit here in Mexico. It's provided us with some serious fireworks. I just finished wrapping up the Tier 2 highlights video, and the amount of overtaking that we saw yesterday, Unicorn, was a lot, to say the least.
Yeah, I imagine that was quite difficult for you to trim down into a bite-sized video that people can watch in less than 30 minutes, because that really was, like you said, fireworks going off, loads of people overtaking, and for some reason Remco's on intermediate tyres, but I've just had a weather report from Fraser saying that there will be no rain forecast for this event, qualifying or the race. Completely dry affair. But yeah, this track, it's been very, very interesting. Strategy has been very, very interesting, and I want to see how these drivers play out. Ben in the Red Bull, I was talking to him just before the race with a couple of the other drivers. Ben thinks that the go-to strategy here is the medium hards, and obviously, we've seen different strategies play out. We saw, what was it yesterday, Darren Alfie do the soft mediums. So it's possible.
Yeah.
There is a whole host of viable strategies around here that all work, and it makes it such an interesting race to watch. And traffic is also very interesting. We saw Hennes get caught up in a lot of traffic yesterday after pitting lap 1 after safety car, just for tyres, just strategically. And I think that would have worked out very nicely for him if he hadn't got stuck in traffic, as Wavy starts qualifying off in the Racing Point.
Yep, that's Wavy right in the Racing Point. Heading down into turn 1 now. DRS wide open on the rear to begin the first lap, the first official lap of this club division qualifying. And we were talking about races yesterday and tire strategies here. We saw Ben the Bear in the Oceanic division here yesterday from pretty well rear of the grid take a win. And he had to serve a drive-through penalty. I will say now for certain, I've seen Ben drive this circuit already in its entirety through a race setting in that Oceanic grid, and he is a force to be reckoned with. He did employ the medium-hard strategy as a result of the fact that he did not qualify inside of the top 10. I do not know if we'll see him try to deploy something different. Try and give himself a challenge, as we know he likes to do. Wavy now. Very wide coming out through the S's here. You see that red track map now, and this is something else we've seen this week. A lot of invalidations coming through in qualifying for these racers, and that translates into the races something else that, well, we can only describe as penalties. We've seen so many penalties come into play here. I think Wavy's actually going to come straight into the pit lane here. He's taking out the bollards there.
And the first driver to cross here will be Mert, I do believe, because S-King, he's also invalidated. Mert, he's invalidated as well, and like you were saying, these have really been translating money then, opening with a 114.1. Is what we've got there for opening, and we'll Ben the Bear thrashes that with a 113.2, and it seems that is Ben going to try and start this race on sots. Maybe he's, like you say, going to give himself an interesting strategy. He said the medium hard was the way to go, but that doesn't mean he's going to pick it. We know that's Shenjay.
Maybe he's trying to fill people with some false information here. Shenjay, I think, wow, look at the gap between those two right now. That is a very, very tight gap between Ben the Bear and Shenjay on the front row of this grid right now. ZZ9 is quite close to that, and another driver who is very, very serious about this race. I was speaking to him yesterday. I was after Tier 1, before Tier 1 action. Again, ahead of today's racing, it's the Ferrari, the Spaniard, Alex Bitto, and he has a serious axe to grind. He's been sharpening it all season to take on, of course, ZZ9, and he's actually aborted this lap. Bottas gang pressuring him on a flyer perhaps. He's on the medium compound tires, very close behind Alex Bitto, who was flying. Not entirely sure if he was happy with it.
Yeah, Fraser struggling to set a lap time, invalidating 2 laps, I believe, before now heading to the pit lane. His teammate ZZ9 up in 3rd right now, so as it stands, still a very strong place to continue his championship run.
A lot of drivers entering into the pit lane now. Bottas gang to the line. Here we have it out of the McLaren. First time a 1:14.920 on the mediums. Wavy on an out lap. King in the Williams will be beginning a lap shortly here. Remco van Booten on the intermediate compound tires. Not entirely sure as to why.
Well, maybe he wants to go for the medium hard strategy. He just doesn't want to use the softs, but he doesn't want these sets of softs up. But he just doesn't want to sit there and do nothing. So going on intermediates, it's a bit of a questionable decision, but it does give these drivers something to do without alt-tabbing from the game.
King, big shake coming out of turn 3. He's yet to set a time on this board. He had a very unfortunate occurrence in yesterday's race, terminal retirement as a result. I'm not entirely sure what came of that issue. Something between him and the McLaren of Rackety in Tier 1 action last night. But we'll see how he fares here in Club.
Yeah, Ben's just gone fastest, a 1:13.1, and that's on old softs drift, so I think maybe you've hit the nail on the head. Maybe these softs aren't what he's going to start the race on. Maybe he is going to come out a little bit later in this session and pop onto the mediums. Maybe this is just like a stint test for him, just to see the pace of these softs.
Could very well be. Could very well be. Here goes King now. Across the line. P4, 113.553. We saw him on the inside curbing get that Williams a little unsettled. We also saw that same inside curbing take a win away from Domi yesterday in Tier 2 action. Wavy into 8th position, a 114.3. Jinakari and the Haas flying through out of the S's now. He's just entered Sector 3.
You can see there, Ben just getting out of the way of the Haas, who goes a little bit deep into the hairpin, completely missing the apex. So this isn't going to be his best time, I don't think, but it is valid. It is going to be a time on the board, and a banker lap is always very useful. It's 12th place, a 116.2, so you can see he is a little off the pace at the moment, but he's definitely got the pace in that car. And to set a valid lap is very, very useful around Mexico. A track with such difficult track limits. Fraser, speaking of people who've been struggling with track limits, he's out on a flyer now, this time on the softs rather than the mediums.
Another driver I want to take our attention to when he begins his lap is Zamis. We haven't really seen too much of him yet in this session. He's snuck himself into that P10, 114.438, and we'll see what he's able to put forth. He's been a very patient driver through this season since he joined the club. Of course, Zamis began Season 3 MRL action as a Tier 1 racer.
Yeah, and I say it every time Zamis in the battle, it is a real joy to watch him race. He is just a top-class driver. He really, knows his racecraft. He knows his style of racing. Fraser jumps into 4th place at 113.3, just behind his teammate. The second row right now belongs to the Mercedes, but yeah, Zamis, it'll be very, very interesting. He has to start his lap to see what he could do in this race, because patience, if he can avoid penalties as well, with track limits, etc. I think this could be a good race for him.
Custom right now, he's coming through out of the penultimate turn in the Haas. He'll be looking to do a little bit better than his teammate Jinakari for this occasion. Custom's here in a reserve capacity. There he goes, PA to 114.1. Alex Bitto on the medium compound tires, Unicorn. He has set a 114.793 here.
Yeah, Shenja's just set the fastest sector 1. He's about to come out of sector 2. Let's see what he can do. He's lost a bit of time to that second sector, and I think he might struggle to take pole. A little bit of a lock up into the hairpin for the Alfa Romeo, taking all of the inside curving though through 15 and out of the final turn, almost spinning on the curb, and there we go. A 113 flat from him. Look at the gap strip. What is that?
0.12 right there, 100th, with a couple milliseconds to play with.
It's so tight at the top, and well, Ben's coming back out on soft, so maybe he isn't going to start this race on mediums.
Well, as I said, for starters, Zamis, I wanted to ride along with him and we got sidetracked here, but he's crossed 6th quickest, Unicorn. He ran a 113.7, but yeah, back to Ben here. That 113.1 right now, the current time, he's just about to exit Sector 1. Let's see what he's able to put on an improvement here. DRS wide open on the rear wing for the Red Bull. Cross through the split now. Let's see. That's classifying him on an outlap.
Yeah, I think I'm not quite sure what is going on here, but yeah, that outlap thing has just popped up there. But I can guarantee you Ben can go faster than this. I reckon he can go sub 113 because he posted that previous lap time on old tyres. So there is definitely more to give from the Red Bull driver, and just can't wait to see what lap time he ends this session on. Shenja as well, I reckon, in the final 5 minutes. There's a McLaren, it's Mert.
Yeah, Mert's had an issue coming through that stadium section. He's got that car around. Ben, I'm going to follow along with him to see if he goes to the line here and does improve. We're not being told that he's improving, but we'll see what it is. It is an improvement. There it is. It's a 112.993 out of the Red Bull. That is 992 according to the actual timing tower. That is the first sub 113 time we've had in the session today. One thing was, I was on with Bottas gang. He had an invalidation through Sector 2 in the S's, so he will not be improving just yet. Wavy right now, he is in the racing point. He's coming through into the S's section, and he is, well, looking to find improvement. At 114.356 the current time. We take a look at the current gap to leader from first down to 7th position. It is less than 8/10. And things are still tightening up as we go to the finish of this qualifying session. There goes Wavy with an invalidation.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. He was up as well. He had a really nice Sector 1. Almost lost it through the S's, but caught it before it turned into a big slide or a spin. But yeah, invalidating it there coming out of Sector 2. It's unfortunate he was on to go sub 114, and that would put him nicely into the top 10 for the time being. But not to be for the racing point.
Remco Van Putten, I was just along with him for a ride, and through Sector 3, he's unfortunately stepped in it. He's invalidated this run.
Yeah, it's not the last time we're going to see an invalidation or a track limits extension by any means around Mexico. S. King, he is now flying through Sector 2, but that is a huge cut through turn 11. And that ends his lap out. He was on for an improvement as well, so he will be disappointed in that, no doubt. Jinakari behind him in the Haas.
Well, Jinakari needs a major improvement here. He's quite off the pace considering things. Jinakari, we know him to be quite a quick driver. See what he's able to put forth across the line now. I think this is more like it, Unicorn. What's it going to be? There we have a 114.9, so he is closing himself up to things. We still have a little bit of time left in this session. Ubar, who I had a nice chance to chat with ahead of this race. Ooh, a big lift through the S's. That's actually allowed him to keep this lap. Here in a reserve capacity today. The German driver, he's in the racing point. See what he's able to do when he crosses the line. He needs to get a time on the board at the very least. Fubar has been a driver through Tier 1 action that we've seen to leave things to one shot, and not entirely sure why. Here he comes into the pit lane now, so we'll see if he gets out again to get a lap time on the board. We're going to look on with Alex Bitto, showing him as he's no longer on an out lap, but he is on an invalidated run. No battery in utilization at the moment, which means I think he was using it and he probably stopped when he ran a curb. But he is on these softs. His best time is on the mediums, so we're going to be looking for a significant improvement out of the Ferrari once he begins.
It was turn 3. He just took far too much to the inside curve. I think he's not going to go again. He's going to get onto some fresh softs, I imagine. What is the play here? He hasn't got long.
So many drivers on invalidated runs. Money has just entered the pit lane as well as a result of an invalidation. We look on as ZZ9 is slowing this car down massively, getting things prepared and synced up to begin his lap. He's currently sat in P3, a 1:13.313 the lap time out of ZZ9, the current championship leader, with Alex Bitto and Shenjay hot on his rear in the standings. However, Shenjay ahead of him in this campaign and qualifying so far. Alex Bitto not doing too good yet in the session. He could be approaching things very strategically. He told me he had all eyes on this race this week.
Yeah, and a race win for him would be so very, very useful in that championship fight. And, well, someone who's not in the fight but definitely in contention for the win here this evening, Ben the Bear. He's just let Wavy pass through the final sector to give him a slipstream down the start-finish straight.
That is quite clever, isn't it? D9, very, very tight through Sector 2. He is up. He's looking for an improvement. Can he keep things valid? We've seen so many racers invalidate their runs. He almost did it through that S's section and now through the final turn. What's it going to be coming out of the Mercedes? Can he improve? Can he beat Shenjay for P2? Yes, he can. 2.5 tenths the improvement. It's a 13 flat. Just 0.03 of a second ahead of Shenjay. Shenjay on an out lap right now. Ben the Bear is not flying according to that battery utilization at the moment. Shenjay on an out lap right now, will be coming through Sector 3 and will be beginning shortly. Fraser in the other Mercedes. He is not going to be improving, not on the current run at the very least.
Yeah, I don't know what the time is for the drivers. Obviously, sometimes there is a little bit of a desync between us and them, but Alex Bitto is leaving this very, very late to try and get his lap in. There's 41 seconds left in the session, and he's still in the S's section. He's going to be very hard pressed to get to that line in time, unless, of course, there is desync. But yeah, now this is where everything goes a bit crazy. Ben's flying. ZZ9, I don't know if he's flying or not. He's utilizing the battery, but at the same time, he's down a little bit. Shenjay is flying.
Bottas Gang about to cross the line here. 1:14.540 out of him, nearly 0.4 an improvement coming out of the McLaren. It looks like he may be going again. However, he does have that low fuel light on. ZZ9 has retired from the session, as has Zamis now. Money has also retired from the session. Freeware flying, as you said, a lot of drivers on flyers.
Shenjay's just at the fastest Sector 1 of the session. What can he do outside of Sector 2? He's got, that's 1.5 tenths he's up on his previous best time. This is good enough for provisional pole. Ben is still, well no, Ben is not flying. Ben's invalidated his time. ZZ9 has retired the car in the pits. This could be pole position for Shenjay here, Stuart. As he comes through the final sector, he needs to get this well. It is, it's a 12.8, a 1:12.8. He's done it. What a great time from him. Fraser isn't done, but I don't think it's going to be pole unless it's the no, he's invalidated. S King's invalidated. Freeware's invalidated. Shenjay.
Wow.
Oh, that's exactly what he needed.
Well, Alex Bitto is not going to be happy about this. Not at all. He will have the free tire choice. He will have the free tire choice. But that is 15th position, and he has to hunt down a massive grid to get to those championship rivals. Fubar, no time set here in this one. Wisp in the Renault, no time set here in this one.
I think Alex here has to take advantage of that free tyre choice. Start on the mediums, go for the one stop onto the hards, and just really, really hope that maybe a safety car falls his way as well. He's not a slow driver. He's definitely capable of getting some of these positions just built up just on pure pace alone, but Shenjay, Ben, and ZZ9, they're going to be very, very hard for the Spaniard to catch in this race.
Well, this grid is really looking sharp. Really looking sharp. Look at Shenjay. Shenjay pole position. My dear. A 112.8. 2/10 nearly is the gap between him and Ben the Bear. Ben the Bear not getting that final run in. But yes, Shenjay on pole position. Ben the Bear lining up next to him in second. ZZ9, his teammate. Of course, not his teammate, but ZZ9 in third with his teammate. Fraser right behind him in fourth. King is in fifth. Zamis sixth. Freeber seventh. We have Custom in eighth. Bottas Gang ninth here with Money. Rounding out the top 10. We'll go down through the rest of this grid on the formation lap, but I am very, very excited to see how things go now that Alex Bido, second position in this Drivers' Championship, who set their fastest time on the mediums, is going to climb through this grid. It's going to be a very, very long haul for him. It's 36 laps around Mexico, of course, and we have a nice sun shining day here in Mexico City. It's going to be a lot of fun, Unicorn.
Yeah, one thing that I've just realised I think we didn't see during that qualifying session is teamwork between the two Mercedes. I don't think I saw either of them give each other a slipstream. And on a track with such a long straight, that teamwork could have been very, very powerful for them. But the invalidations, I know they were hurting Fraser, so I wonder whether that has cost them here. That potential teamwork they would have seen into those last laps, and they needed every single lap opportunity for themselves. So it's just something I thought I'd mention that I just don't think we saw. But ZZ9 is still in a strong position. Third on the grid is, nothing to be disappointed with, and we know him to be someone who is very capable of trying to keep himself clean of penalties, and that could really do him some justice in this race on a track that, well, is penalty hell for a lot of these drivers. It's been so difficult throughout this entire week.
Well, we are here for the formation lap, and Shenjay has just absolutely rocketed away from this grid. No weaving. Wavy and Mert have now come together, and we have our first DSQ of the formation lap. But let's go through this grid, Unicorn. Shenjay on pole, Ben the Bear lining up next to him on the front row. It's the two Mercedes lining up, the pair on the second row, and we have King, Zamis 5-6, Freeware Custom 7-8 with Bottas Gang and Money rounding out 9 and 10 for this one. Wavy in 11th, Mert in 12th. We've got Mammal 13th position here. He's learning the wheel. He's got it in brackets there. Remco Van Putten in 14th position, as well as Alex Bido, the runner-up in the championship presently. Starting on the hard compound tires, we've got Gianakari in 16th position. Wisp 17th. No time set out of him with Fubar there in 18th. He didn't set a time either. He's here in a reserve capacity. Now, predicted pit stop is a two-stop. Soft, medium, soft, hard. We've seen medium, hard. We've seen soft, medium. We've seen it all this week, and we're going to have to see how it plays out. We've also seen quite a couple of safety cars throughout the week, mainly on the opening lap. So we'll have to get those votes in the chat. Let us know what you are thinking. How many safety cars are we going to be seeing for a very intense grudge match here for Club Division? See Shenjay now very early to the grid. Everybody else taking their sweet time, and it looks like everyone now under that AI control that gets them appropriately lined up on that starting grid. But I'm very excited for action here. Shenjay, Ben, Z9. It's an absolute grudge match between the Mercedes there on the second row. Unicorn, of course, do us the honors for Club Division as always. Take us away, Alex Bido. It would appear he had a disconnection of some capacity.
Yeah, hopefully that doesn't hurt his start here. Everyone's loading onto the grid, so I think that might be the case. And turn one, like you said, you can't win the race there, but you can certainly lose it. The lights are all red. Everyone's revving up, and away we go here for Mexico. And Shenjay looking like he's had a pretty poor start. Ben already passed him. with two Mercedes. Fraser looked like he's got a nice start on ZZ9 there, both side by side. Shenji trying to slipstream Ben coming down towards turn 1. It doesn't look like Alex has started the race. Ben now is still in P1. The two Mercedes are side by side. ZZ9 holds on to third.
Freeware's doing work over here. He had a very good start. He's made up 2 positions already. He's into 5th position, and now we've had an issue. Yellow flag popping up. It's wheel-to-wheel contact, I think. A lot of tight battling right now. Custom and Zamis are wheel-to-wheel 3 out of turn 5. So much action already on this opening lap, and this grid is absolutely locked together right now. The only driver who's had a major issue is Alex Bitto.
Yeah, I don't know if this is related to his disconnect. There he goes again. Fingers crossed we can get him back in this session nice and quickly, but well, he's back in already.
Not entirely sure what's happening with Alex Bitto. It's very unfortunate that this game presents these issues for these racers right now. Wheel-to-wheel action. Fubar. Ooh, where was Fubar? The Mammal and Money are having an exchange. Fubar got through. Now Mammal ahead of Money, and now Ben the Bear has had a... Oh, what has happened with Ben the Bear?
It's the timing tower.
Oh, the timing tower is just... I'm trying to look for action.
Yeah, I was very, very confused.
Oh, dear. You love to see it, don't you? Every race we've got to deal with this in the opening 3 laps. I suppose we'd be used to it after 22 rounds or however many we've done now.
Yeah, it's still Money. Money now dropping to Jinikari for the opening few corners, and now trying to get a better run. The traction out of the softs still very, very beneficial in these opening stages of the race. Up around the outside for the Alfa Romeo, down into turn 4, and he's got that move done and dusted in the Haas of Jinikari, looking like a little bit sideways, but Wisp not able to find a way through.
We have no intervals at the front of things right now. All we know for certain is that Ben the Bear is the leader of this race. Shenji is P2, and there we have a bit of an update. Mammal has had to come in early. Not entirely sure why. But yeah, Freeware had a good start to this race, up 2 positions. A few other drivers had good starts. Fubar has made up 6 positions in this campaign as well. So that's a very good start for the German.
I can't confirm it was a wing change for Mammal. Not sure what caused it, or damage that resulted in that pit stop, but it was a wing change. He did pick up damage somewhere on that opening lap.
Ooh, Zamis has just picked up a 3-second time penalty coming through turn 2 and 3, and Custom. No penalties. We'll be looking to inherit that in the long run.
Yeah, Jinikari's just got a bad exit out of turn 3, and that's leaving him a bit vulnerable to Wisp, who's going to go side by side with him down towards turn 4. Wisp on the outside, Jinikari holding the inside. Nice and defensive to the inside, but you can see Wisp there just holding it, looking for it down into turn 5. Yeah, Mert's just got a lovely view of this. Mert might even have a look at Jinikari. If Jinikari gets a bad exit out of the second of the 2 right-handers, he hasn't been able to find a way past, and Wisp now is looking a little shaky. You can see Jinikari having to snap out from behind him. Now on the brakes, you can see Mert is just catching them almost running into the back of the
so touch and go there, Unicorn. And here goes Jinikari. He's having to look up the inside. Oh, he's earlier on the brakes. Wisp holding it well around the outside there. Mert he has the front row seat to all of this, and it's one of the tightest battles. Jinikari now with a snap out to the inside. Could be that he wants to enter into the pit lane here. No, Mert around the outside, getting Jinikari, and that's a mistake for him, but this is going to give Jinikari the DRS, and this is a big, big issue. A big issue for the McLaren, because he's also going to have that DRS heading down into turn 4. Wisp is going to have a problem with these 2 as well, because he's not going to have any DRS in this situation. And as we make our way through turns 2 and 3, you can see the indicator already coming up. Look at the exit here. There's a slide out from Jinikari. Mert has a much better exit here. Does he have enough speed to make a move up the inside into turn 4? No, he gets early on the brakes there. He holds off. When he has that big lift, though, he has to keep into consideration Jinikari's sitting right on his rear. He can't be lifting that much, because Jinikari could have a snap to the inside and make a move on him, and next thing you know, he's under threat. Bottas gang within a second of Custom right now in the fight for P8. Custom holding station with Zamis in 7. And Freeware right now is still holding on to these 2 Mercedes that are losing time on Shenjay. I don't know what is going on between Fraser and ZZ9 right now, but they aren't able to stick with Shenjay at all. Ben the Bear right now pulling away about a second point two.
I don't think there's anything going on between the Mercedes. I think it's just the pace of the front two. They just can't keep up. I think that is just what we're seeing here. You can see there, Fraser, no contention between ZZ9 when he goes through custom now, getting passed by Bottas, going down into turn one. The McLaren up another place. Merton Whisper exchanging as well. Down towards the corner. It's Wisp now in 15th behind the other McLaren. So McLaren having a nice go through the opening corner now. ZZ9, he's had an issue somewhere, Joey. He's been overtaken by Freeware. I don't know if it was just an overtake from Freeware, but he's lost a lot of time to Fraser as well, whether it's as a result of the AlphaTauri coming through. But either way, Freeware now up to 4th place, and like you said, he's had an excellent start in this race. He's now up 3 places where he started, but he does have a 3-second time penalty. And he's the only person in the top 6 to have such a thing. One of only 3 drivers in the top 10 to have one at this stage. But
Freeware lost a win around here yesterday due to penalties. That I can say for certain. That was in the Oceanic split, where he was a reserve yesterday.
And he won't want to be repeating history like that.
Money on the softs with the DRS. We'll see what kind of traction he's able to pull over the Dutchman. Remco van Putten looking like he will be put into a defensive position. Look at the run here out of the Alpha. Will Money make a move? He comes to the outside. Remco now defending on the inside. How does this go through turn 2? The Alfa Romeo on the inside. A little bit of a cut over the curbing there, but he will have the DRS to hunt down Remco into turn 4. We know how Remco likes to defend. He's going to squeeze off Money as best he can here. Wheel to wheel, we have an aerial view. Remco now, the inside through turn 5. Holding that Alfa Romeo onto the outside next through the double right. Does he have enough traction in these hards to keep him there? Yes, yes he does. Remco holding 11th very well versus the softs right now. Very early in this race.
Striff, that was just perfect defending from Remco. I can't fault a single thing he did there. As soon as they came out of turn 3, you see him move to the right. He takes away the slipstream from Money because obviously the Alfa Romeo is going to want that run down at the inside line. Then Remco just late on the brakes, holds it on the outside, takes the inside, and from there he just hogs it because you've got one right-hander followed by a double right-hander, and he's just held it so very well. And now obviously Money's a little bit closer, and you'd expect him to get past on DRS here, down into turn 1, but Remco has really held this Alfa Romeo up, and obviously he has a completely different tyre strategy, so right now it's Money who needs to be going fast. And you can see again, he's holding this inside line, and I imagine we're going to see him late on the brakes into turn 2, trying to squeeze around the outside. There you can see his front wing up the inside, and now no slipstream for Money. Remco still on that outside, burning ERS, but nowhere near as much as Money, who's had to come off. Now again, Remco late on the brakes. A little bit of a lock-up, but you can see there's nowhere Money can go. He's holding those inside lines, and it's just beautiful stuff coming out of this Red Bull.
He had no DRS heading into turn 4 there, and he's still managed to hold off the Alfa Romeo with sheer car placement. Because through this circuit, there's good places to put your car in defense, and he held that inside line through turns, 5, 6, and 7, and as long as he has that inside line through there, it's very hard to find that traction on the outside, utilizing that curb to get the move around.
Yeah, really, really nice stuff from Remco. And he may not be in the fight for the lead of this championship, but Red Bull still very much needing to defend P2 in the construction standings, if not take the fight to Mercedes at the front.
ZZ9 and King now. ZZ9 has really dropped off from where he began things in that second row, because he's now into 6th position. He's been overtaken by the Williams, and everybody inside of the top 9 on the softs right now. We are going to start to see pit stops come through, and once those pit stops come through, ladies and gentlemen, that is when this race really starts to get shaken up. It'll be the 5th time that we've seen it, the 4th for Unicorn and I combined this week, and well, We've seen, well, the third at the very least for Unicorn. I forgot about Oceanic. But it is going to be really broken wide open. ZZ9 is really struggling here. Zamis now takes him.
It's AI. He's disconnected and
oh no!
He's got an invite, but he doesn't seem to be able to. He doesn't seem to be able to rejoin it. And look, he's just crumbling. And this is bad news for him because not only is he about to just lose a ton of time in this race, this is his championship lead slipping through his fingers. The only benefit he has is his main rival, Alex Biddo, is also out of the points in 16th.
Yeah, this is music to Alex Biddo's ears. Absolute music to Alex Biddo's ears. ZZ9 also having an issue. Shenjay, I imagine, will be very, very thrilled about all of this. And yesterday,
this is Shenjay.
Yeah, and he took a championship yesterday, Shenjay. He sealed the deal in Tier 1 for those that did not know. Shenjay, officially now the Season 3 Tier 1 champion for the Misfits Racing League. And it was very close. He needed to beat Yoda. He needed to outscore Yoda by 2 points in order to secure the championship and seal the deal yesterday. Inakari now pitting. And he did it, just barely.
Oh, S-King's had an issue through the S's.
Yeah.
He's off.
I don't see anything on the
There's
front
damage
left.
on the front right.
Yeah, the front right has the damage. I was looking at the left, I didn't see
a lot
anything.
as well.
Nearly all gone, that front right.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate for the Williams. Not quite sure what happened. Maybe just a snap. I don't think he was in any tight fights. You can see he's struggling without this DRS right now. This DRS downforce. ZZ9 still disconnected. Hopefully he can get back in.
Well, the car is actually going to head into the pit lane. So we saw this yesterday happen to a couple of racers. Shenjay had disconnection issues. Yoda had disconnection issues. It was wild because they were in a title fight just the same. Now we're seeing another title fight affected by these unfortunate issues.
Yeah, fingers crossed he is able to get back in. His Steam Room is still saying that he is in this race, so maybe it's just now a visual error that he's not AI controlled. It just depends on his pace and whether we can see it. He's now right ahead of Alex Biddo, his main championship rival. The gap there, 3 seconds. And interestingly enough, Shenjay has put himself back within a second of Ben the Bear, and which one of these is going to come into the pit lane first? Are they both going to come in at the end of this lap?
Fraser now is looking very tight to the rear of the McLaren Mert in 6th. See what Fraser is able to do coming out of the S's. He will have DRS in the run into the right-hander coming through Sector 3, and we'll see what he's able to do. He's alongside just a little bit still the McLaren, but that is Fraser into 6th position. Now Shenjay and Ben the Bear have both pit. Shenjay onto hards, Ben the Bear onto mediums. Ooh, that is big. That is a very big deal. That promotes Wavy into lead of things for the time being. Zamis has come in. He's putting on a fresh set of mediums. Remco Van Putten has now overtaken Shenjay. Yeah, he's got big traffic between him and Ben. One of the best defenders we've got in the league is just sitting between him and his teammate right now. Remco Van Putten. Ooh, look at this. He's going to do it. Oh, man. We saw what he did against Money. We saw what he did against Money, and now Shenjay's got big problems. He's doing the same thing here. A big squeeze out from the Dutchman there. Shenjay around the outside, off circuit. Will he get this move back around the outside? Remco has a good, but he's got the traction. Shenjay's lost out to Fraser, and this is a really big problem. And why is this happening to Shenjay right now? Well, look at those hard compound tires. Fraser in that Mercedes. He's on the fresh mediums. He's through on Shenjay. Now he's got to deal with the Dutchman. And if he's able to get through in the Dutchman, that will be huge. Absolutely huge for him.
Well, Fraser was telling me before the race that this is one of his best tracks. He just really hates the track limits in this game. And, well, look at what it's getting him. He's now net P2. It looks like he's about to get Remco down into turn 1. And if Fraser does get Remco's had such a good exit though, but if Fraser can get past Remco, which it looks like he is about to do around the outside, it's going to be close. But if Shenjay is going to be stuck behind Remco for another lap, here's Fraser late on the brakes around the outside, and I don't think Remco
what
is
a
going to be able to
move!
stop this. He isn't, and that is critical in this race. Shenjay, I don't think he's going to be able to get Rails Remco. We're about to see the Red Bull do it once again, but Shenjay's got some extortionate pace coming down into turn 4. I think it's too little too late. Both locking up though. Remco's had a huge lockup. A little bit of contact. Oh, Shenjay's made it through.
That was very, very bad for Remco there. Fraser had a lockup. So Fraser had that optimal line, that outside line coming through turn 4. And that actually compromised Remco in his defense with Shenjay. Now, what has this all allowed to happen? Freeware barking up the Red Bull's rear, and that is, of course, the sister car looking through on the inside now with the DRS wide open. ZZ9, now, according to the race control, has now re-entered the session. Remco defending against Freeware on the inside through the hairpin. Back through on the line is Freeware into 5th position. And what a group of overtakes we've had come out here on lap 12 as we make our way through into lap 13. Very, very tight racing. There goes the timing tower, ZZ9. That means he is now back into control of his car. Some pit stops coming through here. Mert, Wisp coming through into the pit lane. Zamis right now tight to the rear of Custom. Will we see a move out of the Renault? Patience from Zamis as always. He's going to wait more than likely into turn 4. He needs to have a good exit though. Bottas gang ahead of Custom. How's it go for the Renault? DRS for the both of them. Not utilizing too much battery right now. Zamis on a lap pressure rubber in comparison to the Haas. He's just staring at that Jack and Jones rear wing. He's being patient.
Yeah, like you say, ZZ9 is back in control of that car now, but it isn't before. Alex Billow is able, he's now 2.3 seconds ahead of his championship rival, and Alex is now in the points. He hasn't pit yet, and he will have to, and ZZ9 is going to have to pit again as well. So we could see them on very similar mediums towards the end of this race. Alex obviously going for the hard mediums you would expect, and ZZ9, soft medium, medium, I imagine is going to be the play for the Mercedes, but both are going to be fighting for what appear to be the lower point scoring positions. Meanwhile, Shenjay, he's dropped to Fraser as Zamis now, looking to try and get the run out of the final corner on Custom. Here he goes, the Renault. One of the McLarens has had an issue in the second sector, but right now it's Zamis up the inside of Custom. He's got the run, he's got the speed, he'll have DRS, but Custom laying on the brakes is defending against the Renault and has successfully done it into turn 1. Can he do it again into turn 4? Zamis a little bit early on the throttle, it would seem, out of turn 3. Finds the inside line. Late on the brakes for Zamis. And that's a very, very nice overtake from the Renault. Not getting it on the first time, but the second time he has sealed the deal here.
Very nice from Zamis there. Very clean driving from both of them. You love to see it, Unicorn. That was a very neat defense from Custom there. A very good offense from Zamis that ended up netting him a position. Right now, Mammal has Fubar in his crosshairs. Here we go now on the outside line heading into turn 4. Mammal breezing by.
And ZZ9 is absolutely crunching down the gap to Alex as well. So he is really on a mission. He wants the recovery drive here. Fraser now with DRS on the back of Wavy. Wavy on the 14 lap old mediums he started this race on. Fraser now up into P2. And obviously he has pitted, and
Remco Van
Ben
Putten.
ahead of him has 3 seconds.
Remco Van Putten has Bottas gang now, who's just overtaken him for 6th position. I think Remco might have a snap to the inside for a defense here, but Bottas was later on the brakes. Ooh, nicely done from Bottas gang. Zamis right now. This has compromised Remco, I think, and the tire wear, I think, starting to play for Remco a little bit too much here. Not a lot of defensive ability in comparison to the fresh rubber at this time, and Zamis is into 7th as well. Custom on the 4-lap old mediums. He will also be looking to dispatch the Dutchman as Shenjay now has made it ahead of Wavy, who is still on these medium compound tires that he started this race with. There goes Custom now ahead into the S's. 8th position for him, and it's good that he got that done before the S's section, because Remco definitely could have held him up through that section of this circuit, given his defensive ability, tire wear or not. Fraser now. Benjay 1.6 on the rear of the Mercedes.
Yeah, and Shenjay and Fraser are both penalty free right now. Like I say, Ben's got that 3 seconds. Wavy has 12 seconds, and Freeway has 6 seconds. So It'll be interesting to see. Ben needs to keep himself clean as well, because right now he is still in the lead of this race. If the race was to finish now, he would finish in first, even with that penalty. He's 4.7 seconds ahead, but if he was to pick up another one, bump that total up to 6 seconds, it could cost him. Especially on how much time Shenjay's strategy of the one-stop gets him here. Freeware up into P4.
Ooh, ZZ9 and Bido wheel to wheel through turn 1. Bido on the inside. That's going to have ZZ9 on the inside back through turn 2. Now through 3. I think ZZ9 might have just taken a penalty through 2 there. But he will have that DRS, of course. Alex Bido doesn't care. He's burning all of that battery to defend this. Up the inside through 4. ZZ9 holding well. He's looking for a switchback, Alex, right now. He's trying to get that car rotated. He has a look to the inside. He's going for it. ZZ9 left some space. Bido wants it. Oh, that was a tight move there from Alex. He's, of course, on his starting compound of hard tires right now versus ZZ9, who has switched to a set of mediums.
Yeah, Alex trying to go out the inside there. I feel like he would have been better suited to go on around the outside. You know, we've seen people defend with it so much through this race. I feel like the offense in that corner.
Freezing by Bottas gang now with that DRS and full utilization heading into turn 1. He is clear ahead of the McLaren. No defensive move yet out of Bottas gang. Zamis will have the DRS into turn 4, I believe.
Yeah, that DRS detection zone in sector 3 applies to both the first and second DRS zone, so if you get the move done down into turn 1, you're going to have DRS despite not having a car ahead of you, or regardless of if you have a car ahead of you. S King now, he's going to be looking to try and drag himself into Wavy, but it doesn't look like he was within that 1 second gap before the DRS detection zone that is about half a lap away, so not able to close himself up. Now he will have it down towards, well, maybe he won't with a mistake coming out of him like that. That puts him out of the window for DRS detection from Wavy.
Custom just took a 3-second time penalty coming through the S's section. He's keeping up quite well with Bottas gang right now. Bottas gang still within DRS range of Zamis, and this is going to help him defend off the Haas. But he is just on the hair end of that. You know, he's just dancing within that DRS range. He's lucky he's going to have it coming down through turn 4 as well. That's going to be crucial.
Bottas gang is in a very, very nice position.
No penalties for the man.
Yeah, he's actually currently right now in net P4, I think, with penalties. Freeman's got 6 and Zaris has 9, so Bottas gang just needs to keep doing what he's doing, keep his head down, keep himself penalty free, and he's going to gain 1 or 2 positions at the end of this race if he keeps this up. And it's a very nice, clean, we haven't really seen too much from him in this race, and sometimes a quiet race for a driver, especially in the circumstances that Bottas gang is in right now, is exactly what he needs.
Wavy right now. He's on these fresh hards, Unicorn, and he's hunting down another driver on the hards, except it's Alex Bido. The difference being 17 laps between the two. Alex on those tires since the beginning of this race, and the big question is now, when is he going to be coming in? And what tires? Does he go long? Does he come in for softs? Does he go hard soft? Does he play it safe? Does he go hard medium? And when?
It depends on how long he thinks he can really take those softs. We saw Darren Alfie, everyone thought his tires were going to burst yesterday, but his tire wear just allowed him to really dominate with that strategy. And now we are seeing a few drivers come in. Remco's come in for some mediums. Are we going to see Alex Bido do the same on the next time around? But there is also the opportunity that he could push for the softs.
Alex Bido has Wavy, though.
Idea.
He has Wavy barking up his gearbox, and the big question is, does he defend Wavy? Does he put that additional wear into those tires, or does he let him go? And I don't think he's going to let him go, so that's going to give him an issue in trying to catch ZZ9 2 seconds clear of him ahead.
I think the problem Alex has to deal with here is ZZ9's 15 seconds down on Custom, and Custom is behind people who are on pretty much all identical strategies bar Shenjay. And the problem Alex has is that has a bit of a flexibility here. He can just pit for the mediums when everyone else pits for the mediums, put himself on an even playing field, as Wavy's got a very nice exit out of the S, is not going to be able to make the move down into turn 12 though. But Alex Bido, he won't be able to catch us easily, as Wavy gets very close to the rear of the Ferrari on the mediums.
And
so
Putin on the inside, Wisp has the Dutchman flying ahead of him on the inside into 12th position, and I just had to try and catch that as it was happening very quickly. That Red Bull on a serious charge, and we're going to switch on back over to Wavy. Alex Bido having a good exit out of the final turn here. But Wavy with that DRS, the fresh tires, he's looking for the outside. What? Ooh, that was a very, very unique move out of Wavy, because Alex Bido pretty well not leaving any space on that outside. It would have had to be 2 wheels on, 2 wheels off for Wavy. Alex Bido narrowly shutting the door there. That almost became a yellow flag, I think.
yeah, that could have been a safety car quite easily there. Driven Wavy with a big slide out of turn 5. But yeah, Alex Bido, he was, you know, I want to say criticised by Freeware for Alex wasn't happy with himself either for the line he takes into turn 1. Sometimes he uses that outside curb that we see him do there. I don't think that was him shutting the door. I think that was just the line he was taking. We were talking about this before the race. Alex does. He swings wide there to give himself a better opportunity into turn 1. And he was saying that it isn't the best line, but it's the line he's taking. And, you know,
Mammal,
he struggles with that corner.
Trying to interrupt you there. Unicorn, Mammal, and Fubar having a wheel-to-wheel exchange as they come out of turn 7. Mammal right now in 14th position. Fubar very tight to the rear of him, wanting to, of course, get as many positions as he can in this race. Mert right now, wheel-to-wheel with Jinikari. They are coming out of turn 5 through into 6 and 7 right now. Jinikari on the inside, and that line is so crucial here. Bido defending against Wavy through turn 1 once again, now through 2, now through 3. How's it going to go with the exit and the DRS for the Racing Point? Not good enough, I don't think, to get the move done just yet. Bido, I was talking to him last night. We brought up Remco Van Putten. They are, we always talk about how they are rivals. And he was saying, yeah, Remco and I, we give each other the respect. Bido, a very hard defender, both of them hard defenders, and some people not used to that. Wavy right now, he had a taste of it last lap through down turn 1. We said that it might have just been Alex's regular line, but at the end of the day, I think Alex may have defended like that to begin with. Of course, he's driving a Ferrari. The Ferraris like to be in front of things always. Remco Van Putten just took a 3-second time. He just took a 3-second time penalty, Remco Van Putten. That brings him to 12.
Caught Fraser.
Oh, that's not good for Fraser at all.
I think we're seeing the switch over here. Shenjay's strategy now coming into play. The mediums, they're going to start to taper off Mert. They're completely getting out of the way of this fight. He does not want to be accused of holding these guys up, and you know, he's in 16th place now. He's putting himself in vulnerability of Jinikari for the benefit of these races. That's a very, you know, generous and selfless move from him. But yeah, Shenjay right now on the rear of Fraser, and Fraser is in big trouble, I think, in the coming laps.
Alex Bido finally making the call to pit. He has come in and he has decided it's going to be the mediums to the end, Unicorn. So he has come out in 13th position, 7 seconds the current gap to the driver ahead. That's Wisp in 12th. Wisp is currently driving on 8 lap old hards. We're on board with Bottas gang as he's still chasing with Zamis. Freeware 3.2 seconds ahead of Zamis on the 1 lap older tires. And as you said, Shenjay now within DRS range of Fraser.
I don't know if that was the call from Alex. I mean, only he can know what those hards felt like for him, but I don't see how does he catch these guys? He's too far back for an undercut on the leaders, and by the time these guys pit for mediums, his are going to be already, you know, 3-4 laps old. So I don't see how Alex Bido catches here. Maybe this is just him trying to secure a few points in those, you know, secure like in a 9th place. Oh, Fraser's had a big slide.
Yeah, that is a big slide, and Shenjay's going to grab a couple of tenths as a result. One thing I can say for certain with Alex Bido, because he started this race on those hards, and he has now come in for those mediums, we still have a good chunk of running left in this race. Should there be any issues resulting in a safety car, he has an insurance policy called soft compound tires when he comes into the pit lane.
Yeah, and those mediums can go to the end fairly comfortably as well, so they're not going to be too slow as he picks up his first
Oh,
penalty
no.
of
Well,
the
that's
evening.
not what he wanted to do at all.
Yeah, ZZ9 still penalty free. He's going to be pretty happy with that statistic, and he is slowly closing Shenjay now. The run on Fraser is absolutely extreme. He is absolutely breezed past the Mercedes down before turn 1. He is miles ahead as they enter the corner. And I think now the hards, they've switched Shenjay into a little bit of overdrive. Shenjay here. Could we see him pit for softs before the end of this race, Jeff? To try and pick up an extra point for fastest lap, I wonder. Because everyone behind him has to pit. So I don't see...
I don't know if it would be worth that risk.
I don't know if there is a risk, though, because he doesn't... It's not an extra pit stop. It's the same amount of pit stops. It's just a different strategy. Everyone else going soft, medium, medium. He's going to go soft, hard, soft. I think that could be a very interesting idea. And look at the pace he's got on Fraser right now. I don't know. I think it's something that Shenjay could toy with here, and as fast as stuff. I imagine that accolade holds with Ben. It is a 16.9. Shenjay's only 0.2 off that.
I want to talk about two things real quick here. King is hunting Wavy down right now. He's on older tires. He's sticking with the racing point quite well. Alex Bido is flying. He is absolutely flying. He's already within a second of Wisp. Fubar has now entered the pit lane. And there are a variety of different battles unfolding, whether it be in tire strategy or in time on circuit. Look at the DRS and look at the speed coming out of Alex Bido here. Wisp, not entirely sure what. He's actually lifted and allowed Alex through. A big lift out of that Renault. And he dropped off the throttle, and he's just let Alex Bido go.
Yeah, it's not really his fight. Doesn't want to slow down. Obviously, that is for position, but Wisp doesn't want to waste time battling through Sector 3. It's a terrible place to battle, and I think he knows that S-King on the back of Wavy. He didn't get close enough through Turn 1. I don't think he's going to get close enough down into Turn 4 either in the Williams. But this race has been very interesting, and this final tyre window, pit window, it's going to be make or break for these drivers. I think undercuts. Ben's in. Ben is into the pit lane. Now, the gap that Shenjay has when Ben comes out is critical, because I think it determines whether he can go for the softs or not. Obviously, Shenjay could stay out and go to the end, I think. Another 10 laps, 24 laps on hards. They're not going to feel great, but I think it's doable.
Zamis is into third position as a result. And the Bear has come out 4.7, about 5 seconds on the rear of Zamis, which puts him about a fairly decent gap to Shenjay right now.
And it's what, 12 and 13 seconds plus the 3-second penalty, so 16 seconds between Ben and Shenjay, including the penalty, give or take. But Ben's going to catch Shenjay. Maybe not in time, but he's going to start closing his gap down. Is it going to be a second a lap, though?
Not entirely sure right now. I do know one thing. King looking for a move on Wavy. Wavy on the outside. King with a lunge through on the inside of turn 4. Wheel to wheel coming through turn 5 right now. That's the Williams on the rears of the Racing Point. He's going to look for the inside into 6 and 7. Nothing doing just yet, and he is going to actually concede and allow Wavy to carry on. But this has exposed him. Bottas Gang says thank you very much and moves on through on the inside, giving him the outside through into the... Okay, Bottas Gang really capitalizing. He's on these fresh softs, Unicorn, and look at the speed coming out of him right now. He's looking at Wavy already. I did not see Bottas Gang coming in. I don't think King did either.
And speaking of fresh softs, Freeware's just picked off ZZ9 for 5th place. ZZ9 now into the pits.
Look at the traction out of Bottas Gang. He's just taken Wavy through Sector 3, and there's a big slide out of Wavy. He's into the wall ahead of the pit entry. He's reset to circuit. He's going to have that wing damage, and he's going to have to drive the entire race with it. Or the entire lap, excuse me. Oh, no. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why you do not reset to circuit.
Oh, and now Customer on the outside of Zamas. It's a complete lunge around the outside, and it really hasn't worked for the Haas. But yeah, not only is resetting to track, you know, not allowed, but it's also just completely ruined Wavy's race there.
Pressure these drivers are under right now as we get to the end of the season. You know, Alex Bitto, ZZ9, they're in an absolute grudge match right now. Alex Bitto, 4-lap old medium, ZZ9 behind him on the softs. That's the title fight we want to see right now. ZZ9 leading the championship. Alex Bitto right on his heels. Shenjay leading this race in 3rd position, and this is going to really put him into striking distance for quite possibly his 2nd championship this season.
Does he have to pit though? Ben's catching him rapidly here, sure. But the 3-second time penalty, it's all in that. The guys on the softs are really... There's a lot of drivers on the softs as well. I did not expect us to see this at this stage of the race, but they're all on them. You know, we've got like group of 4 from 3rd through 6th. That's Fraser, Freeware, Bottas Gang, and Zamas on them. It's interesting. Does Shenjay do the same? It would drop him into about 3rd, I think. It's a tough call. If he can keep himself penalty free, I think the answer is no. I think he stays out. I think because has he got warnings? He's got 2 warnings though. He's running a tight. He's walking a tightrope here, Stu.
Zamas in P6 right now. There's been a big issue with Jinakari as a backmarker. He's pulled off. The other Haas Custom will move through on his inside. But I wanted to say Zamas, he has been in 6th since the beginning of this race. He's come in now. He's had 2 stops in this race. And he's still in 6th. And he's just showing consistent pace and having a solid race. And he's within a second of Bottas Gang. He could net himself another position. So we'll have to see how that develops. Take a look at the penalty situation across the board right now. That is what's going to hurt him. 12 seconds. Alex Bitto, he's just taken another 3-second time penalty, and ZZ9 is going to be thrilled about it.
Yeah, Zamas' penalty situation isn't he's not alone though. Bottas Gang is in a very, very nice position in this race. I could see him taking freeware on penalties, and depends what happens with the guys up at the front. Shenjay, another second taken out of the gap by Ben the Bear.
Ooh, a little bit of a
it's gonna be so
fight
close.
happening between Mammal and Fubar. Fubar on the inside through 6 and 7 now. Mammal around the outside holding. Fubar on the outside now through into the left. Mammal neatly done and neatly defended from him for the moment.
I think by staying out, Shenjay's going to keep himself in P2 at least. But I don't know whether he's going to be able to beat Ben. It's going to be so close between these guys.
Zamas is gaining on Bottas Gang. Last time we checked in at this point in time, it was about a second the gap. Now it's about half that. So we'll see what he's able to do here. Maybe he's able to hunt down a bit of a gap ahead of Bottas Gang from some of those drivers behind like Custom and King. But of course, penalties all throughout this grid. Only 3 drivers on the grid without penalties. Benjay, Bottas Gang, and ZZ9. And ZZ9, everybody knows that he never takes penalties. Alex Bitto was telling me that after I had... Remember, we had them locked together for the United States Grand Prix last week. And I had said, he needs to force a penalty. I spoke to Alex about it after the race. He says, you can't force penalties out of ZZ9. So I said, okay. So he had very little options. Now, once again, together on circuit, Alex Bitto and none other than his long-time rival and respected racer, Mr. Remco van Putten, in 8th position, defending against the Spaniard on 3-lap older tires. Here we have it now, Alex Bitto wanting that outside line.
I've just seen some very, very interesting things. Shenjay's just been unlapped by Wavy. Wavy just overtook Shenjay, and Remco and Bitto. Right, Alex now into P8. Shenjay's pace on these hards is nothing compared to those fresh softs, but it's too late now for the pit stop.
I want to know what kind of defense Remco is going to cause ZZ9 here.
Yeah, because Bitto and ZZ9 are now both in the points. And every single point here matters. Every single point. And Alex, He's got 6 seconds of penalties, and that's going to cost him because I don't think he's going to be able to gain any places unless he can get within 6 seconds of Custom, who currently has double Alex's penalties. And ZZ9, no penalties, could see him absolutely jump up this grid. He really needs to close down though, because the gap between Custom and Alex is so big that might hinder as Remco defends the inside.
Well, he had a snap out to the inside, maybe to spook Alex like we know him to do, and this is giving him a really bad exit out of turn 3. He has had a big snap. He's taken a penalty, and ZZ9 is clear through, and this is exactly what Alex does not want. He wanted Remco to put up a solid defense. Remco, with that snap, does the opposite.
That's very, very unlucky for the Red Bull.
ZZ9
is getting very close.
Well, let's see if he's got enough. Oh my, look at the speed coming out of the S's here. Softs versus mediums. DRS, does he have the look to the inside? No, he's going to be patient. He's going to wait for the straight into turn 1. Remco now.
Oh, Remco's off.
Yeah, he's had an issue. No damage, but King's dispatched him for the final points position now. Mammal, Fubar, they have been doing the dance this entire race long. Just having a grand old time. Here we have it, ZZ9, no battery. Absolutely none by the end of this straight. And here we have the DRS to the inside. How's this going to go for him with no battery? Alex Bido expending everything he has as well.
Ben is going to be pretty close to getting DRS of a Shenja. I don't, he's quite got it though. Where's the line? There it is. He hasn't got it. He's missed it by about 900ths of a second. But the pace of these mediums might close him enough into turn 1 that he's able to get past into turn 4 just on raw speed, because Shenja is really struggling right now on pace. There are 3 laps left after the 1, so realistically 4 for both of these drivers. The gap is 1.4. Ben has 3 seconds of time penalties. Shenja's only needs 1 more warning. How many warnings is Ben on? Is a question that needs to be asked.
Fairly sure on where he lands with the warnings, but I see penalties coming hard and fast. Remco and Custom have each taken an additional 3 seconds. Remco up to 21 seconds. Wavy 29, Fubar 24, Money 24 in Mexico is really plaguing these racers.
Yeah, the penalties around here. When it comes to this, you know, it's so tricky because we have to run strict in the lane, because otherwise you just get the completely bonkers lines that relaxed gives you.
Yeah.
That just aren't neither setting really as realistic as I think the racers would like. Well, I think this is the lesser of 2 evils in some respects. As now Ben.
Yeah, big charge coming out of him. Backmarker traffic gonna give Shenja DRS, but it's not enough. It's not enough.
No, but it will. It will give him DRS down into turn 4 as well. Obviously, he won't be able to make the overtake, I don't think, unless Ben has a huge snap here. But Ben still has that penalty to deal with.
Yeah, this is gonna give Shenja a little bit of an opportunity to keep him within Ben. And Ben hasn't been able to pull away as much as he would have liked, but once we start coming through, I think Sector 2, we're going to really see him pull away with the traction. Actually, it's already began. 4/10 just in the last 3 turns, so he is now without that DRS Shenja, and this is going to cost him. Ben the Bear needs to find 2 seconds within the next 2 laps, and considering what he's doing right now, he might just be safe.
Yeah, I think he's got it. I think he's got this race to win, and I think Shenja, there was a gamble available with the soft tyres, like I say, but the hards here, it's a pretty much, you know, it was a safe 2nd place. And obviously, if Ben has an issue, he could still take the win as well. So I think Shenja, he's gone for the safe option here, and he needs points. He needs this point tool. Alex Bido could finish outside. Well, actually, look at the penalty situation. He won't finish outside the points, unless, of course, again, a big issue. ZZ9 though. He's going to come home in...
Wavy's just unlapped himself.
Done it again?
Yeah, he's just unlapped himself from Shenja.
Yeah, but he did that a few laps ago, and I'm wondering whether there's no way he's got an entire lap again on Shenjie. So he must have.
Well, they
been
overtook him, and I think
relaxed.
he's been trying to follow them along with that DRS. They overtook him, remember, into the turn 1. And then he's unlapped himself once again, at the very least from the Alfa Romeo, due to the fact that Shenjie is on 23 lap old hards to the end now. We're on the penultimate lap of this race, but Wavy is a lap car in this campaign. Not too many intervals to look at this point in the race. Everything is going to come down to penalties after 35 laps of running. Wisp right now, the tightest gap on grid. He's looking at Mammal. Mammal sticking that car on the inside coming out of turn 5. Coming through 6 and 7 now. He holds on to 13th position. He's on the 10 lap old mediums right now. Wisp on very fresh softs, going to have a lot of traction. Try and make up a position here. You can see how much traction exactly through these S's. Now DRS on the rear. Ooh, and he's gone into the rear of Mammal. Unfortunate. But that is a factor for Mammal when he is on the older tires. He will be braking earlier.
Shenjie's just dropped outside of that 3-second time window, and he's losing big time. Again, no penalties. He won't see himself being overtaken by Fraser before the end of this race, even on track. But it does look like Ben here might have sealed the deal.
Well, we'll have to see. He's still got to go through Sector 2.
You know, if Ben picks up another penalty now, it's game over for him. So it's all dependent on if Ben picks up a penalty through these final sectors. I do believe he was on 1 warning after his other penalty, so he needs to pick up 2 in the last 2 laps, because I didn't check last lap either. But now, through the hairpin, you can see all of the colours of the Mexican flags being thrown up in the standings, and well, here he comes. And the bear, what a drive.
Well, Shenjie P2, Fraser now P3 coming out of the Mercedes. Freeware. The German will be looking to cross 4th. Zamis. See how things play in penalties for these drivers as Zamis will cross 5th on the line. Bottas gang, no penalties for the McLaren. Will secure 4th. And he has now managed to hop both Freeware and Zamis into a serious haul of points. Mammal's car is spun around here. And he is reversing across the line to finish out this race. Vinakari will be the last driver to take the flag, as Remco van Putten ahead of him will cross just in front of him. Vinakari looking at the inside of Remco, a little bit of backmarker battling. Well, what a race. For those tuning in, I don't know if you guys knew this. When the drivers do that at the end of the races, they get penalized. It's interesting. I don't know that they do that. Kind of dumb, to be very honest. Ben the Bear with the race win. Oh, what a race from him. Shenjie, a very long stint on those hards. Very long stint on those hards. He claimed 2nd after a stellar performance starting this race in lead of things. Fraser from 4th to 3rd. Bottas gang from 9th to 4th. What a nice performance from him. Freeware from 7th to 5th. Damas, he remains 6th after a very consistent drive, even with the penalties. ZZ9, he started in 3rd. He drops to 7th. No penalties for him. Custom in 8th. Bido in 9th. King in 10th. Remco van Putten in 11th. Wavy in 12th. Mammal in 13th. Wisp in 14th. Mert in 15th. Fubar 16th. Money 17th, with Jinakari rounding out the 18 drivers for this one.
Yeah,
wow.
My silence for the last 30 seconds or so, but doing a little bit of maths here to try and work out where the championship standings are after that. I do believe ZZ9 is still in the lead, but Shenjay's performance there has brought him into the running big time. He was 254 points to ZZ9's 272. I think now Shenjay is on 272 and ZZ9 is on just 278 with Alex Biddo on 263. So now I believe they're all within 15 points of each other, Striff. And before this race, it was, I want to say 18.
Yeah,
so
there's a little bit more than that between the three. It was a little bit more, but now I think you're right in saying that it's come down quite a significant amount, given the loss of major points to both Biddo and ZZ9 in this campaign. Wow, that was a wild, wild campaign. We are going to be calling it there for this evening. We are going to be rating a member of the F1 stream community. We're going to figure out who that is in just 2 moments' time. Of course, we have the outro as always, and figure out who we're rating. That would be great. Take a look here. Well, we'll figure that out, and we're going to rate. But we will see you tomorrow. For those that are new to the stream, thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed the race, we are very happy that you spent some time with us here on the Misfits Racing League Twitch channel. My name is Striffium. Joining me as always was Unicorn. But that is it for us for Saturday night racing. And yeah, we will see you all tomorrow. 11 p.m. GMT, 100% distance racing action. We are back in Mexico for that. There's going to be regular corner cutting and, well, reduced damage. So it's going to be a very, very fun race. A lot of fast drivers signed up for that. So we will hope to see you then for that. Once again, 11 p.m. GMT for that. Unicorn and I will be on the commentary. And yeah. We hope to see you then. If not, well, you guys have a fantastic evening.